In Mexico, the houses look a lot different. They were all made out of concrete and brick. So you would walk into the house, and the first thing was the living room, and there was a long corridor. Off the corridors were two bedrooms. One was my and Pa's bedroom. The other one was Auntie Helen and my bedroom for a while. Then it was the dining room and the kitchen. And she had like a little patio, and there was a couple of bathrooms back there, and then the yard where Grandpa would have what they called a chiquero, where she would have this was pretty much a pig pen. He would raise pigs. And from there on, the property was actually divided in two and made the one large house and the small house. So he kept, as the family kept growing, he continued to borrow property from the smaller house in order to make the house that they lived in a lot larger to accommodate whenever the family would come and visit from the States. So they built the second level. As you came up the stairs, there was like a little sunroom that Grandma had her sewing machine in. Then there was a bedroom and a bathroom. Family continued to grow, so he decided to make like an addition to the second level. So there was some smaller stairways, and then build two additional bedrooms and like a sun patio, a sun deck. He also built some bedrooms in the backyard, just to accommodate when any family members would come in, either from Chicago or from Leon. And from either direction, we've been a large family. My experience when I went back in October was we walked it by the house, and I was informed that we could not go in because the owner of the house would not approve of it. And so I asked who was the owner of the house. I explained to the young man that was at the door that this used to be our home, our family home, and that we wanted at least to step into it to get just the feeling of memories again. And he informed me that the owner of the home was, he called her Doña Teresa. And I go, Doña Teresa? And I says, the lady that lives next door? And he said, yes. And I said, hey, I'm good as in, because she was my friend, my childhood friend. When we walked into the house, after greeting her and sharing a few moments of love, I walked into the house, and the further I would go in, I would begin to tremble. And as much as my Auntie Mary was also very excited to be into the house, and Jorge and Magdalena. But the living room was gone. Okay, what she did is that she turned this house into a boarding room for students. There was 20 students living there at this time. So the living room was pretty much eliminated, and she made a couple of bedrooms there. Okay, and then after the couple of bedrooms there, it might have even been an office, I don't know. We continued walking down the corridor, still the same tile on the floor. The bedrooms were there, the same steel doors were there, and I knew that was Ma and Pa's room. As we continued on, the dining room was still there, and you could see the stairway with the same colored green paint coming through on the stairway that Pa had painted. The kitchen was a little bit different because, as I stated, she made it into a boarding room. So she extended the kitchen so it could be more accessible to the students. The backyard pretty much was tiled in, and she built more bedrooms going up to the second floor from where the bedrooms that Grandpa had. She built the second level so she would have more room to rent to students. When we came back in from that, from the backyard, we went up the stairs from the dining room, and there was Grandma's sunroom. The bedroom that was on that level was converted now into a kitchen. And the two bedrooms that were upstairs were still remained there, and the bathroom. But just to look down and to see the same tile, the same blue and white tile that they had laid down, and to see the sun blocks to allow light from the second floor onto the first floor, it was just amazing. Amazing. So we were very fortunate to be able to walk into that house. My friend did say that anytime any family member would go out there, they're more than welcome to stop in as long as she owned the property. And apparently Grandma had sold the property to someone that lived in Mexico City, and they just couldn't continue the maintenance of the house because of the commute. And he had asked Teresa if she was still interested in buying the house. She says she told me that at that point she didn't have all the funds to pay for that property. She says, and he told her, give me a month, I'll get it together. And then when she went to the bank and she made all arrangements to buy that property, and she told us that the reason she had to buy that piece of property was because of the wonderful memories that she lived in that house when we were young. She remembered the mischief we would get into in that house, and she remembered the many times we both jumped from one balcony to another from that house onto hers. So to me, that was just such a bond. She was not only my friend, she continues to be my sister. It was a beautiful experience. So whenever we go back to Zamora, you know we have a connection, and we can go into the house. We can walk through and feel still the same memories, the same, I almost want to say, the presence, the spirit of Manpa.